Hi. In my last video, which was the second one on mindfulness and sound, I had mentioned ritual. And I had said that we would be talking about that again. And I don't know why we wouldn't do that right away. So today, Najee and I will be talking about ritual. And I'm going to give you a little bonus neuroscience lesson, and you can see just how easy neuroscience can actually be. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. This is Sunshine Spirit Mindfulness and Meditation. I'm Donna. This is Najee, and we are very happy that you are here. So let's get started. Don't know how that would happen, but I happen to have a piece that I've written about ritual. So let's start off by reading it. To build and employ a ritual is to train the mind and body in what you want and expect. The more the ritual is done, the more soothing and purposeful it becomes. Time, place, and props can be important, but more mindset, intentions, commitment, such that once begun, the ritual transports to the desired status by just beginning. Okay, we'll go through that line by line here in a minute, but let's do that little neuroscience lesson first. I am a huge fan of research, a geek, I don't care. And neuroscience is one of my pets. I really like it. I subscribe to the neuroscience newsletter, which is free and comes every single day. Not sure about Saturdays and Sundays, but during the week for sure. And it has a list of headlines of the latest studies in neuroscience. Just fascinating stuff. I'm not going to get into all of that. But it is something that I really love, and I think it's important. And I think that the more research that gets done on the brain, the more we understand about ourselves and people in general. But there are some things I think it's important for everybody to know and to understand. And one of those things is the way that the brain makes what I like to call roads. I'm not even going to touch on the official terminology, and I'm not going to get into the boring details, fascinating as though they may be to me. I'm going to describe it as inside the brain, there is a series of roadways. Some of them are superhighways. Some of them are barely more than tracks. If you are learning a new thing, you are essentially building a new road. Maybe it's a familiar drive for a little while, but then you have to start chipping away some new space for a new turn or a new road. If you work on that new road long enough, with enough repetition, it will grow. It'll go from barely a path to a road, to a street, to a highway, and even a superhighway. So now think about when you are on your way home from work. I don't know anybody who has not had the experience of pulling into the driveway and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't remember driving home, or I don't remember all of the drive home. Think about, too, let's say you just moved and you leave work, it's been a busy day, maybe you're not completely concentrating on what you're doing, and you get in the car, you start to drive, and you realize you're driving to your old house. Not your new house, your old house. And that's because getting into the car at the end of the day has become a super highway. You barely have to think. You just get in the car, you start to drive, and you head home. And since home just changed and you weren't thinking about it, you go to your old house. Hopefully you don't make it all the way there, but it can happen. Maybe. To some people. So that's how it works. As simple as that. That's how we build new neural pathways. So ritual, in my way of thinking, is an avenue toward making the road faster and bigger. And that's what this is all about. Mindfulness is a state of mind. It's a way to look at things. And to get into that state, and particularly to go the next step into the meditative state, ritual can help build the pathway of getting there. So I hope that explains what this is about. So I have a very scratchy throat, and I apologize for that. I'm going to take a little drink of water so that I'm not coughing. I know there's no way of getting through this entire thing without something like that. So we'll go through the piece line by line, and we'll have kind of a mindful and meditative experience. Starting with, sorry, baby. I didn't mean to startle her. I didn't realize she wasn't paying attention. So that's how I generally start my ritual. To build and employ a ritual is to train the mind and body in what you want and expect. So I start the ritual with the 3 tones. And then I move to breathing. And I've been doing this a long time. And by the time I hit the 3 tones, I'm pretty much in the state where I want to be. But I don't skip anything, because what if I'm a little distracted? Or what if I start unlashing? I gotta give myself time to be comfortable in that place. So I'm gonna start breathing in, and know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I'm breathing out. Definitely fall in South Dakota. Lots of wind. And in a heavy wind at this time of year, we get a lot of leaves blowing off the trees. So hopefully that won't be too distracting for me or for anybody watching. I don't think it's going to bother Najee any. So I'm just going to breathe, get myself centered, grounded. And when I feel ready, and I've got all my senses open to the wind, to the smells, the sounds, the sensations, the sights. When I'm ready and comfortable and relaxed, I continue. The more the ritual is done, just repetition, and repeating it the same way if you can each time, the more soothing, because it is soothing. You know what to expect. You're getting where you want to go. And since the whole purpose of this particular ritual is to relax and become mindful, to pay attention, it's very soothing. The more soothing and purposeful. We're doing this particular ritual to get to this place. A place I really like being. The more soothing and purposeful it becomes. Time. That used to be more important to me than it is now. In fact, yesterday I was doing a video, and I think it was the sound, mindfulness and sound. I think it was yesterday. And the sun was at such an angle that it was glinting off of the phone, and I didn't think that that was a very good visual. I mean, it was pretty, but I also thought it's almost like a strobe light at times, and that's not good. So I very purposely waited tonight until it was just a little later, so that the sun would be further down. And I'm very hopeful that it's far enough behind the trees at the moment that we won't get that glare. But in the beginning, going at the same time can be helpful. Place. For me, place is very important. I certainly didn't start out in a meditation garden because I didn't have one. But it needed to be a place where I could be alone. That was very important in the beginning for me. But the first really strong experience I had was in a group and came totally by surprise. So however it works, that's the important thing. Props. I've got my drum. I've nowadays got my dog. And in a way, she's a prop. There is nothing more soothing to me than stroking her. She's incredibly soft. I'm very lucky. She's just a sweet thing. And having her beside me and being able to stroke her just adds to my feeling of contentment and relaxation. It doesn't really matter what the props are, and it doesn't really matter if there are none. I mean, you certainly can get into a state of mindfulness and meditation without props. It's just an aid, and it's very soothing to me personally, and it has that added advantage of helping to train the mind. So time, place, and props can be important, but more mindset. Do you want to be relaxed? Do you want to get into a place of mindful concentration and attention? Are you in the mood and able to let things go at this moment so that you can completely embody the here and now? Is that your intention? Is it your intention to learn and realize the benefit of mindfulness and meditation? Are you committed? Mindset, intentions, commitment. The first time that you have a mindful moment or do a mindful exercise may not be that meaningful. If you're fortunate, then it will be, but that's okay if it's not. Every step that you take, if you're committed, is a step in the right direction. And as I've mentioned before, the research shows that even 5 minutes of mindfulness can be beneficial. More time is better. Having a commitment to it and doing it often can only be better. But 5 minutes here and there is still going to be beneficial. And that's the most important part. Excuse me. Such that having the mindset, the intention, the commitment, whether or not you have the time and the place and the props and all of those things, but such that once begun, the ritual transports. Just hearing the sound of the drum, or just, I didn't use that when I very first started, but I always have started with a deep breath, such that once begun, the ritual transports. You take the deep breath, and you feel everything else start to settle into place. Transports to the desired status. In this case, to that mindful moment, to the relaxation, to the openness, all by just beginning. the ritual. And that is what the ritual is about. You may not need it. Sorry. Fall weather, little bit of allergies, not much, but a little bit of allergies and lots of changing temperatures, kind of giving me just that touch of a cold. So, but it was important to me to continue this, so apologize for the disruption and the distraction. If I were not doing a video, coughing probably wouldn't distract me even a tiny little bit once I got started. And that's kind of the beauty of it. It's what makes mindfulness the key, number one, best pain reliever that there is. And that's something else that we can talk about in the future. I'm going to go ahead. I don't know that I always remember while the video is still running to end a session with the same 3 tones. It's actually something I often put off when I'm by myself and doing this, because it's such a wonderful state, and as long as I'm comfortable and relaxed, sometimes it's hard to quit. I try to maintain being mindful all the time, but I know I'm not entirely successful. And when it's working, it's worth spending some extra time doing, in my opinion. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being with me at Sunshine Spirit Mindfulness and Meditation. Najee and I very much appreciate your attention, and we hope that it's been helpful to you. If you liked the video, please do hit the like button. Don't hesitate to subscribe. And until next time.